So welcome to A Place for Everything. In this video, we are going to implement this get hidden word length method so that when we actually change our hidden word length up here in the reset, then when we run the game, the word length updates. It's a simple thing, but it has a useful moral in it about storing data. So let's crack on. Okay, so just before we start playing around with the hidden word length, let's talk about a place for everything. One of my favorite expressions I don't quite live up to, which is that you should have a place for everything, everything in its place. I wish my house was like that, but that's the theory. It's a good idea in programming in general. So basically I'm saying think carefully about what you store, what data you store. This is a general issue of bandwidth versus storage, or another example would be CPU versus RAM, or typically on a machine you're talking about, access to data, data locality, these types of things. So for example, a concrete example is storing a birthday versus storing your age. You would want to think carefully before in a database or in a computer system storing somebody's age when it's so quick and easy to calculate their current age from their birthday. And even if you wanted to say, well, I want to know their age at a particular date, well, why not just store that date they signed up for the policy, date they did this, you get the idea. That's a very simple example. So basically, until proven otherwise, don't store results. It tends to make your code harder to read adding data. So for this word length, this hidden word length, we're not going to create a new member variable, a new integer for the hidden word length. We're just going to calculate it as we go. You can read more around this in the fantastic, but slightly more advanced than we need book, Game Programming Patterns. Now, the whole book's available for free at gameprogrammingpatterns.com. Data locality is one of the topics that touches on this. And if you like the book, buy the physical copy and read through it, and then maybe read it again and again and again until eventually we understand it all. So that's the idea. So let's dive in and make get hidden word length available. Over in our main method, we currently have a hard-coded hidden word length. Let's look at the game running. You see it says 9-letter isogram. Well, we don't want 9-letter isogram, do we? We want the number of letters to depend on the currently set word. So we're going to get rid of this constant in here and make a call to a new method that we don't have yet called get hidden word length. So let's write the signature for that in 32 using the new Unreal syntax. Get hidden word length is going to be constant, of course, because getting the hidden word length, we wouldn't want to check anything. Oh, and by the way, while we're here thinking about constants, check guess validity is also pretty much a getter, isn't it? It's just going to get a status, some sort of status back later. So while we're here, we may as well think that should be constant. And if it should be constant, I quite fancy moving it up along with all of the other constant getters. It's not quite a getter because it's going to return something a little richer, but it's close. We haven't, of course, implemented that method yet. Anyway, back to get hidden word length. That's a constant method that just reads back the hidden word length. So let's go and implement it, but I'm not that kind. I'm not going to implement it for you. I'm going to let you implement it. Just don't create a new private member. We don't need it, of course. You can just calculate the hidden word length by using the dot length method. So that's your challenge, basically. It is to replace word length completely in that main method, in that main CPP file. What we want to do is write get with hidden word length getter, just finish writing the declaration, define the declaration I've just written, make it read from the current word length, don't create another member variable, replace word length in the print intro method, and test it with different hidden word lengths and make sure that it says in the intro the correct length of the word. Okay, go ahead, pause the video and make this slightly different type of getter that rather than just reading from a member variable, it actually does a quick calculation for you. Okay, welcome back. So we've got get hidden word length here. I am going to put a space in because these are all the guys that start with the word get. That conceptually just says, look, here are my getters, right? And then these are some other constant methods, and then these are some methods that do stuff. All right, let's go ahead and quick actions, create a definition, and look at our CPP file. So what's it going to do? It's not going to return, int 32. That doesn't even really make sense. What it's going to do is return my hidden word dot length, which is a method. Okay, and because it's a getter, and because the logic of that getter is very short, it's on a single line, I'm going to go back to this single line syntax. That's it. It's as simple as that. Now we need to call it. Okay, so, oh, by the way, just before we leave this, if you're concerned about resetting the game and saying, well, is this going to work when we reset the game? Well, it will, because it's always going to read from the current hidden word. So whenever we change the hidden word, this is the last minute when you call this method, it's going to look at the current hidden word and say how long it is. That's fine. That's late binding. That's answering the question as late as possible. I like it. One thing I'd like to do just down here is quickly rearrange these constants. I'd like to keep my constants together, like so, and then I'd like to do my actual resets like that. It's just being finicky. Okay, it's really not that important. Okay, let's dive over to the actual main CPP down in Play Game, and let's ditch this word length here altogether. And what we can actually do is just straight away call the BC Game instance dot get hidden word length, which is a new method. And let's test it works. No, it doesn't. What's wrong? Now, this is the type of error you may end up with. Check guess validity member function is not found, okay? So it's saying that it's not happy with check guess validity. That's because I, in my header file, while I was messing around, decided to add const on the end, but I didn't add const over here in the declaration. So that's absolutely fine. You just have to add const there so that the two headers match. Now, 3-letter isogram, it works. Now let's go back to our reset method, change it to donkey, because I like the word donkey, and we should get 5. We get 6, D-O-N-K-E-Y. Yep, that's fine, I can't count. Let's try one of the extremes, which is a blank string, should get 0. Can you guess the 0-letter isogram I'm thinking of? Well, is it nothing? I think it is. How about a long word like pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis? P-N-E-U-M-O-N-O. No, let's not spell it all out. Anyway, you get the idea. If you put a long word in, then I'm hoping that it will also get the string length back. I don't think we need to worry about the limits of this string length because there aren't any isograms that are so long that they're going to break this. Okay, so I'm going to reset this to say planet, and we are pretty much there. That's good. So the moral of this one is strive for a place for everything and everything in its place, and only store data when you really need to, when performance profiling later tells you that that's necessary. So congratulations, and we'll see you in the next video.